Chairwoman Williams, Chairwoman of the Wake County Republican Party, and with me today is Dr. Wing Ng, who is one of our candidates for school board, and he is running for District 3. Thank you so much for coming in to talk today.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for inviting me.
You are very, very welcome. So I like to start, because this is for our listeners, so they can just learn a little bit more about you and who you are as a person first. Then we'll talk about why you're running for school board, okay?
Sure.
But let's just start off with, if you would tell our listeners a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a Christian, and I'm a father and a husband. I'm a Chinese-American immigrant. I came to the United States when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And settled in Texas. And my family didn't have much money. My father was a tailor, and my mother washed dishes in the back of a Chinese restaurant.
Wow.
And so I knew the value of a good education. I knew the importance of an education leading to something more. Mm-hmm. And so I worked hard, even though my parents didn't really, push me to do the best that I can in school. Mm-hmm. I really just took it upon myself because I knew that I needed to get out of the place that my family was in.
Wow. So will you tell us a little bit about your education and then your professional background?
Sure. I went to public school all the way to high school, 12th grade, graduated summa cum laude, and then went to the University of Houston, where I did a biology pre-med major, and then I went to Baylor College of Medicine for med school. So I'm a physician, and I've been working as a physician here in Raleigh for the last 17 years. Working at in a level 1 trauma center, and my specialty is in the rehabilitation field. Mm-hmm. I work with people who've had brain injuries, strokes, spinal cord injuries, to help them get rehabilitated from their injuries and from their illnesses.
Wow. And so what inspired you to run for school board?
Well, I was kind of happy doing my own thing, taking care of my patients, and my daughter, who has Down syndrome, was being homeschooled at the time. Mm-hmm. When COVID started, and my younger one was in a private school, and we were just content with mm-hmm. Pulling both of my kids into homeschool. But as I was looking around to see what was going on, some of the parents who were having just a lot of unhappiness about the direction of how the kids are being taught, but also just not being heard. Mm-hmm. The parents were not being heard, and that just gave me just flashbacks of when my daughter, the one with Down syndrome, went through an IEP process with the Wake County Public Schools, and I really felt like that it was a process where the parents really did not have much of an input mm-hmm. into what the child's capabilities are. Mm-hmm. It's a snapshot of that day in the life of a child, mm-hmm. and to expect that the person has to perform the best that they can in that one evaluation that would determine mm-hmm. where that child ends up in a school. I thought it was not a fair assessment, mm-hmm. and I felt like that the parents should have a greater input into their children's, first of all, the evaluation process, mm-hmm. but also the direction of the education.
Excellent. And what changes do you plan to bring to the Wake County School Board when you are elected? What changes do you want to bring to Wake County?
Well, I want to bring some of my own background into it, meaning that, being a first-generation Chinese American, I feel like the striving for excellence is something mm-hmm. that is ingrained in me. Mm-hmm. And I feel that a lot of kids right now, they are being passed along from grade to grade. even though they are not performing to grade level, but they are being advanced along. So they're getting farther and farther behind in their education and not being able to catch up. So that by the time that they graduate, they are not at a level where they can first compete in a college, and secondly, to be able to be a productive part of society. And so that's part of the things I want to change, is to raise the standard of education, have higher expectations of the children, and to remediate the learning loss that's been going on throughout this period of COVID. It's been evident even beforehand, but it's been exacerbated in the last 2 years. And it's in all abilities level, from the regular classroom to the AIG, the academically and intellectually gifted students, all the way down to the special education. In fact, special education programs, the children in those programs are having even more of a hard time catching up to what they should be learning.
And isn't that sad? It
Right.
just should not in our country. It just shouldn't be that. Not at all.
Right.
So tell the listeners, if you would please, how can they help you?
Well, I think that I need to spread the word that there is an option. There is a better way for this Wake County schools, and that I surely could use donations so that I can afford to get more yard signs and door hangers and be able to knock on doors. So a second thing is having manpower to go door to door.
Right.
I need volunteers to be able to do that. And I know that not everybody can go out in the heat of summer to knock on doors, but people can also do phone calls and also do meet and greets, host gatherings and homes to just bring your neighbors in, invite people that they know to hear me and hear my position and how I could contribute to improving the public school system.
I think that's wonderful. And your website.
My website is wingforwakeschools.com.
And it's Wing, W-I-N-G, right?
Right.
Thank you. That's awesome. So one of the other things that I like to ask, or just a point, I guess, I'd like to make, whether you have a child in the schools, you have a grandchild, you have a neighbor who has a child, what happens in our schools 100% affects our community. What happens to our children and their education, correct?
Exactly. And even if you don't have a child in public school, like me, but my kids, first of all, I'm a taxpayer, so my taxes are going into the public school, as well as the fact that when my kids grow up, I want them to be in a society where the children can think critically, can be successful in competing with in this world, in this marketplace. And so it's important for the children to be taught right from the get-go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I just really thank you for coming in today to talk, and I thank our listeners. And I have an ask of our listeners. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one question I did not ask you. Can you quickly tell our listeners where is the District 3 for the school board?
Oh yeah, District 3 is in North Raleigh, starting in the Spring Forest Road where the old Wake GOP office was,
Okay.
all the way up to the northern border of Wake County, all the unincorporated parts of Wake County outside of the city limits, as well as parts of Wake Forest. So it's a big area. I will need a lot of help reaching everybody.
Thank you. I forgot to ask you that earlier, so we threw it in.
Thank you.
My ask to our listeners is to share the link for this video. You're going to receive this either on email, you're going to see it on social media. Wing will have it up on his website. But also, you may not live in that district, but you know what? all across this county, there's 9 school board districts, and we have 9 candidates. So you will eventually see all of them. Just share these, please, and let the voters of Wake County hear this, because the things that Wing is talking about are not just for his district, it's for the whole county. And that. So I'll close by just thanking our listeners one more time for listening, and a huge thank you to you, Dr. Wing Ing, and coming in to talk with us today. And we are coming to you live from our office at 1401 Sunday Drive in Raleigh. Thank you so much.